Good morning, my babies. How you doing? Now listen, it's Wednesday, the 28th of January. Wednesday, the 28th of January. Now I had my fingers crossed because I wanted to be back in class. I honestly did wanted to be back in school today. I love work. I can't complain. I love work. Um, I wanted to be back today, but we're off. It's just too doggone cold. It's that simple. Um, Make sure you're bundling up. Make sure you're not being a pain to your parents. Make sure you're helping around the house. Make sure you're cooking your own lunch, cleaning up your rooms. Maybe help your parents make dinner. Or how about this? Why don't you make dinner for your parents? Pancakes is a great choice, or toasted cheese. These are the years that you guys should be starting to mature. All right. Now let's get back to our science. Now, if you look at that title, the wolves are back. The wolves are back, and that's a good thing. Now, some people love the fact that the wolves are back. Some people hate it. I'm a big fan of the wolves being back. All right. The reason why is when you remove those wolves, you damaged or changed, maybe is a better word, the ecosystem of Yellowstone National Park. So let's just go back and review. By the way, moms, dads, if you're listening, good morning. Grandmas or granddads, aunts, uncles, who's ever babysitting today, good morning. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everyone's doing safe. Hopefully everyone's done being sore with shoveling the snow. And the kids should have given you guys a hand at home shoveling. All right, here we go. So let's go back to a review just so we can catch up. So moms and dads, if you didn't hear what we talked about yesterday, here we go. All right, the wolves of Yellowstone. All right. Out in Yellowstone, which is in Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, you have this huge national park, right? And in this national park, you have all types of animals. The couple of the more famous animals that you have are elks, the buffalo, and the wolf. All right. The elk, they're not really going to hurt anything. The buffalo really aren't going to hurt anything. The problem is the problems with the wolves. The reason why are farmers brought in cattle and sheep. They brought in the cattle and the sheep so they can sell the meat, sell the wool for those sheep, and make money for their family. All right, so everybody understands this. So we have wolves were there, elk were there, bison were there. They everything, and I keep explaining, moms and dads, if you weren't here yesterday, that Mother Nature likes that seesaw. Everything's in balance. Everything is in balance. This side goes up, this side goes down, this side goes down, and back and forth. Mother Nature likes that balance. She wants that balance, all right? What happened is that the farmers brought in their livestock, and the wolves were like, hey, it's an open buffet. It's imagine kids, if you could go to, I'll use my daughter's favorite, Chipotle, and it could be all you can eat, and no one's going to stop you. And my son, Case Mitchell, he would probably take Chick-fil-A. My wife would probably take Mad Mex, and I'm going to take Doritos. That's my favorite place. Seafood platter, $21.99. Can't beat that. Great deal. So the farmers brought in hunters, or they got their own rifles, and they started to kill the wolf. Now these wolves were messing up the bottom line, messing up their paycheck. Wolves had to go. The farmers said, hey, we got to get these wolves out of here. By doing that, there were no natural predators for the elk. Now the elk big, huge packs of them because there's no natural predators anymore. Nothing's going to mess with it. Foxes, too small. Coyotes, maybe if it was injured or super old, but one-on-one, forget about it. All right? So that's where we about left off yesterday. Oh, one other thing. I think it was 1926 because it was exactly 100 years ago. Here we go, 1926. The farmers and the hunters forced the wolf in Yellowstone to become extinct. You know what? I did not highlight this yesterday, but I'm going to highlight it right now. They forced them to become extinct in Yellowstone National Park. All right? Now, the removal of the wolf lasted about 70 years. All right, moms and dads, kids at home, 70 years. The reason why it didn't last longer is because ecologists, which everybody we studied at the beginning of the year, these are people who study the ecology, study how a particular area is doing, the biosphere, the geosphere, and the hydrosphere. They study to make sure everything's healthy and everything's going the way that it should go. If there's an invasive species, if something's getting out of control, that's what those ecologists do. All right? They said, hey, we need to bring back the wolf because, and here's Mother Nature, because we, mankind, messed it all up. We messed it up by removing the wolf. Now, by removing the wolf, we started a problem with something called erosion. Now, erosion is when you have water that eats into the riverbanks, and that river gets wider and wider, and it does more damage, and it helps with, when you have riverbanks, it helps with flood control. And the reason why there was more erosion, because the elk had to eat. And they love to eat aspen, which is a type of tree. See, they're eating right here. See in the notes. Now, all these notes you had from yesterday, so you already have them. If you don't have them, watch the video from yesterday. Now, all the elk herds increased. They blew up. Numbers went up big time. All right. And by doing this, there was nothing to control the elk population, and they ate, and they ate, and they ate. Me at Doritos, and they ate. Me at Doritos, and they ate, and they ate. Seafood special, $21.99. Can't argue with it. And those elk kept eating. Or if my daughter goes to Chipotle, she goes with 3 chicken tacos. All right? Whatever your favorite restaurant is, imagine you could eat as much as you want. That's what the elk did. And by doing this, the aspen trees that were holding in the soil near the rivers were being reduced. And that river went from nice and narrow, and it got wider. And those aspen trees that were holding that soil together, because remember we talked about roots a couple chapters ago. Roots are anchored in the soil, and they hold the soil together. Those roots were gone, and now the riverbank was widening, causing erosion. Hang on one sec. So that's no good. Aspen trees. Now in the pictures, now keep in mind, these are not aspen trees. I could not find a picture of an aspen tree when I was going over the notes. Right next to a river. So if you just type in trees next to a river, I understand, and you understand. You just want to get that idea. So these trees right here that are holding in the river are gone. So that river just keeps eating at the side of the bank, getting bigger and causing more and more erosion. All right. So it catches us up to right here. Uh-oh. The wolves are back. All right. The wolves are back. Biologists and ecologists studying Yellowstone National Park after the removal of the wolves saw the negative effects affecting the biosphere, the hydrosphere, and the geosphere. Okay, the biosphere affected all life because now things are out of balance. The hydrosphere is the water. Water is out of control because you did not have banks to keep the rivers and the creeks where they're supposed to be. And by doing that, you cause erosion in the geosphere, the land, the dirt, the mud, the earth. So after many discussions and studies, biologists and ecologists decided that wolves should return to Yellowstone to stop the destruction of the park. All right, did everyone get that? Now, these are notes that you don't have, so let me go over these right here. Okay, so in red, I believe size 20, we always keep it at 19, 20. The wolves are back. Put that down. All right, you have that down? All right, first note of the day. This is all new. This is piggybacking on yesterday, what we talked about yesterday. All right. The biologists and the ecologists studying Yellowstone National Park after the removal of the wolves saw the negative effects affecting the biosphere, hydrosphere, and the geosphere. I'm going to put this in purple because I'm pretty sure it's on the test. Don't ask me when a test is because we're so far behind. Nah, not too far. We're probably 3 or 4 days behind. And we also have to do some videotaping. So those people who owe me a speech, make sure you're practicing. Whenever we come back during lunch, I'm just going to try to grab as many people as possible and finish your speeches. All right? After many discussions and studies, because you have to study and make sure it's the right thing, biologists and ecologists decided that the wolves should return to Yellowstone to stop the destruction of the park. All right, so let's say, for instance, I'm just going to throw out a number. Let's say there's 10,000 elk. There's nothing hunting them. Their population exploding. The only thing that will control the elk or cause the elk to die is if they have bad winters. Now, out there, the winters that we're having right now, these last couple days, that's what they have basically from late November to about March. And it's brutally cold in Yellowstone. I mean, brutally cold. And that wind comes out of Canada and it'll just cut right through you. Cut right through you. As my dad says, son, you got to be careful out there. The hawk is out. That wind will just cut right through you. All right, so 10,000 elk. So we're going to bring in, let's say, 25 wolves, 2 packs. They're going to help control that population. That's a good thing. All right, that's a good thing. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, the wolves are going to hurt the little elk. Nah, you have to control. Just like in the state of Pennsylvania, we have deer season, or deer hunters go out. They control the population of the deer in western Pennsylvania. It's that simple. All right. Put a picture there. Okay, here we go. In 1995, after 70 years of not being in Yellowstone, the wolves were reintroduced to the park to stop the damage to the park's ecosystem. All right. I want you know what, I'm going to put this in here. In 1995, I'm going to put that in red because you should know the year. In 1995, after 70 years of not being in Yellowstone, the wolves were reintroduced to the park to stop the damage of the park's ecosystem. All right? Do you have that down, everybody? All right? If not, stop the tape, type it in. All right? Then after that, I want you to put a picture of a wolf. All right? Whatever picture that you want. All right? 1995, I was I was in my prime at Edinburgh University. Yeah, how about that? Go Fighting Scots. All right. 1995, after 70 years of not being in Yellowstone, the biologists and ecologists brought them in. All right. Now, what they did is you will see these wolves, and they had a big dog collar, and they had a radio on them, and they could track the wolves, all right? Now, keep in mind, whenever they brought the wolf back, not everybody was a big fan. Some people said, no, they're going to hunt my cattle. They're going to hunt my sheep. They're going to hunt my pets. They might even come and try to hunt me. Not the case, all right? Now, every now and then, the wolves do attack some cows when they're free-range cows, or some sheep when they're free-range sheep. That does happen, all right? That does happen. Now, what happens is if a farmer loses, let's say, 5 cows, the federal government will reimburse. That means pay them back how much money they lost. So if each cow's worth $1,000, right, and the wolves killed 5, the federal government will give that farmer $5,000. So then that farmer does not have an incentive, a desire to go out and kill the wolves, because hey, no matter what, I'm getting my money. So that's what's happening currently, and that situation still in effect. All right. Now keep in mind, these farmers out there, it's not like maybe 5 or 6 cows. They might have a herd of 10,000. 10,000 cows, cattle out there, free ranging. So, of course, the wolves are going to get a couple, but they get reimbursed. And they have to take pictures and evidence and then send it in. And then the game commission comes out and makes sure everything's on up and up, and they get reimbursed. Same thing with the sheep. All right? Wolves can change rivers. Now, what I'm going to do, hang on, just because that's way up there, and you know how these notes change every time I do something. Okay, now it's on that page. All right, put that down. Wolves can change rivers. Now, I'm going to ask you something before we look at our notes. Moms, dads, if you're there, I'm going to ask you too. Okay, rivers were contained. They were in their banks. You had aspen trees with the roots holding in that soil. We removed the wolf. The elk population exploded. They ate everything, including the aspen trees near the riverbanks, causing rivers to erode the banks, causing them to flood. Who knows how wolves can change rivers? Go ahead, think about it. Can wolves change rivers? How can a wolf change a river? Any answers? Think about it. Hopefully you said, because the wolves are back, there's less less elk. And now because there's less elk, the aspen trees are starting to grow alongside the river and helping to stop erosion. Hopefully you said something like that. All right? Wolves can change rivers. Put that in red in 20. All right. Here we go. In Yellowstone, the erosion of the riverbanks caused the path of rivers to change constantly. All right? You don't want that to happen. The rivers always change. Go ahead and put that down. In Yellowstone, the erosion of the riverbanks caused the path of the rivers to constantly change. To change constantly. All right? With the reinduction, that means they brought them back. I'm going to reintroduce something. All right? With the reintroduction of the wolves in Yellowstone, this allowed the vegetation, smart word to say plants, to grow and stabilize, help the banks of the river, stopping erosion. All right? Vegetation, that's the aspen trees, to grow and stabilize the banks of the river, stopping erosion. All right, put that down. All right. With the reintroduction of the wolves in Yellowstone, this allowed the vegetation to grow and stabilize or help the banks of the rivers to stopping erosion. All right. All right. Trees like the aspen and a shrub called honeysuckle were allowed to flourish because a large herd of elk could not eat them safely. All right. So let me put this in purple. Changing that up. All right. So before the elk would come down and they would just eat because they had nothing to worry about. They had nothing to worry about. Now, instead of being able to eat safely and not be worried, they have to keep moving because the wolves are going to hunt them. By doing this, number one, you eliminate a large number of the elk herd. That's a good thing. We drop their numbers, more and more plants flourish, and they can't just sit here and eat all day, all night. Now, this is a picture of honeysuckle, and I'll put honeysuckle next to a water or a river, and go ahead and put that picture in. All right. Trees like the aspen and a shrub called honeysuckle were allowed to flourish because the large herd of elk could not eat them safely. Now, honeysuckle is a shrub that grows out there. It's native to that area, and it smells something beautiful. If you go out there in June, you walk through those fields, you can smell it, and it smells beautiful. All right? So make sure you put that down. All right? Okay, with the wolves back and hunting the elk could not simply graze or eat near the river. They had to move. This allowed vegetation to start growing next to the rivers again. I'm going to put all this in purple because that's the whole thing that I wanted to make sure that everybody understood today. All right? With the wolves back and hunting the elk could not simply graze or eat near the river. They had to move. This allowed vegetation to start growing next to the rivers again. And that's what we want to see because that will help. That will help. The word I want to use is stabilize those banks of the river so to stop erosion. All right, does everyone have that? With the wolves back and hunting the elk could not simply graze or eat near the river. They had to. This made them. This because they couldn't do this. This gave the vegetation time to grow. All right. Are we good? Are we good? All right. Now, this is obviously a pack of wolves. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hunting an elk. Now, this is in the wintertime. All right. This is in the wintertime. Believe it or not, the Yellowstone wolves actually changed the rivers. Believe it or not, the Yellowstone wolves actually changed the rivers. All right? Put that down. Believe it or not, the Yellowstone wolves actually changed the rivers. Put that down. They actually changed the rivers. All right? All right. There were less erosion near the rivers and more large pools of water used as watering holes. All right? So this is what it looks like now. Yeah, this is a stock picture. For this one, just put a lake in front of or a small pond in front of a mountain range. All right? By doing this, this allowed more watering holes. It was safer for animals. You had more biodiversity. You had the ability for fish to live in these little ponds, which gave the grizzly bear and black bear something to eat. It was another water source. This allowed beavers to move in. So by bringing back that one animal, by removing it, took everything out of balance. By bringing it back, it slowly put it back into balance. All right? Everyone good there. Okay. There was less erosion near the rivers and more large pools of water used as watering holes. All right? All right. The new watering holes were a great benefit to other animals in the Yellowstone National Park ecosystem. The biosphere, those are the wolves, changed the hydrosphere, the rivers, in a positive way. I'll put this in purple here. That was a glitch there. I didn't know what happened there. The biosphere changed the hydrosphere. How about that, everybody? Put that in purple. The hydrosphere changed the biosphere, the wolves, the living parts of an ecosystem changed the hydrosphere, the water part. How about that? So that's where I want to leave off today. Oh, and I just put a picture of a beaver in there. It should go there, but because I moved everything down earlier, it should be right there. So it changed it in a positive way. So that's what happened. All right? Are we good? Are we good? Hopefully we are good. All right, so here's what I want everybody to do. Review all your notes. Review everything. Now, tomorrow's going to be, it's Wednesday today. We'll worry about Thursday and Friday. There's actually a video that, and just not a video, just put on the internet just to say something's up there. But there's an actual video that shows what exactly happened in Yellowstone with and without the wolf. All right? So go help out your parents. How about this one? Do some laundry. You're fifth graders. You can do that. You're old enough to do that. Do some laundry. Clean your room. Run the vacuum. Help out around the house. All right? And I honestly cannot wait to get back to school. Simple as plain. You know I like being there. Not like I love being there. For those people who need to do their speech, make sure that you're studying it. When we come back, I'm going to try to knock them out as soon as possible. Moms, dads, watch the videos of your kids, and they're doing a great job. All right? Take care. Stay warm. There's my buddy Bucky the Beaver. How about him? Bucky the Beaver. All right? I am out of here. Behave. And as always, go Eagles. Also, make sure if you need me, email me. So this video's up. Email me. My academic games kids. Don't worry about the schedule. We'll figure it out. Actually, we're going to have an in-house tournament just with our kids. So we're not going to go to Seneca Valley. We're just going to be in-house. And Mr. Criswell and myself are figuring out how we're going to do that. It might even be in the evening after school. And I thought we might allow your parents to come in and take the academics questions with you to see if they're smarter than a fifth grader. All right? So, hey, have some fun, relax, help out around the house. And hopefully I see you Thursday. If not Thursday, hopefully I see you on Friday. And take care as always. Go Eagles. Bye-bye, everybody. Stay safe. Stay warm. See you.